My name is Lee Craven. I live at 1301 North Tyler. I am the president of the High Plains Tree Keepers Association. I had hoped to be able to make a presentation, sort of an overview to the commission on a report entitled Amarillo's Bad Trees, a call to action. I understand from Scott that the protocol is that I seek to be on the agenda so that you may have time to review the proposal.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm requesting that I do be able to do so at the next meeting.
I know that we have that material now to look at and to see exactly what you're talking about, and Scott will have an opportunity to look at it as well, and we'll be able to get back with you on that, and either putting it on the agenda or getting with you on it separately, and if we need to put it on the agenda, we will, but I think it's a good idea what you're talking about, so.
May I leave these copies?
Sure, you bet. And the one thing that I was just going to question is, I know you were talking about dead trees, basically, is that correct?
Well, the definition of a bad tree is a dead tree, a tree that's almost dead, unpruned, a diseased tree. The definition is quite lengthy. And I do give a complete analysis of the existing ordinances, the existing codes, some cities that have dealt with this problem, and the fact that we have not dealt with this as a public nuisance issue. But I do believe that citizens' initiative ought to be the first line of action. So it is, you will find quite a few proposals for how we can deal with it as private citizens. But at some point in time, there may have to be private-public liaison or working relationship to deal with more than 20,000 bad trees across Amarillo, which is a blight on our community. But it's also a $5 million potential resource for economic activity that's being overlooked.
Right. When we first did the neighborhood cleanup in North Amarillo, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, we ran into this very issue about trees, and we ran into the problem of not being able to go on people's private property without their permission.
This is not a North Amarillo problem. This is a city.
Or anybody's private property without
I understand
permission.
that. And that's addressed.
But I just knew we came up to that when we were trying to get some dead trees off. So if you'll give us some time to look at this, we'll appreciate it, and we'll get back with you, or we'll put it on the agenda. But one way or another, we'll work with you on this. I think it's very important.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, we formed the High Plains Tree Keepers Association in order to deal with what we have come to view as more than 20,000 bad trees in Amarillo. And these are trees that are dead, haven't been cut, or trees that are seriously in need of pruning. We have trees that are extending over major public streets. So what we're trying to do is to bring this issue before the city so that all across all neighborhoods we can begin to deal with an issue that's potentially dangerous, that's potential civil liability. And it's a general blight on the community, and we need to deal with this as a community across all sectors. Amarillo has a Keep Amarillo Beautiful program, so this would certainly be consistent with what they want to do, except that this is a continuation of having planted trees and seeing trees in the long view that they must be properly maintained and cared for. So this fits into Amarillo's overall city beautification program. And some of these trees are not beautiful. They have been allowed to, we don't know if they're diseased or if they're dying of natural causes, but we have trees that are standing that sooner or later are going to fall, and we need to deal with the problem. Well, the one thing I want to do is to let people know that we do have a website, www.highplainstreekeepers.com.
Okay.
You can go onto that website and you can begin to become aware of the issue, independent of what the city does. This is a personal property owner issue, first of all, but it also is an issue that deals with the city because at some point in time the city may have to enact a public nuisance ordinance, which is why I have come before the City Commission. So that it is on the agenda. It may be far out on the radar, but because it is private property and the city right now cannot force anyone to prune or cut trees, at some point in time we're going to have to all work together on this issue because it is a continuing blight on the community. Within blocks of City Hall, there are trees that need pruning or taken down. And I was a little disappointed that I wasn't able to make sort of a general overview to them, but the fact that I have put the report in their hands and they have indicated that they will read it and get back with me, and we can see what we can start to do and to work together. That's important, that we're getting the issue before the representatives of this community to see how we can all work together as a community to resolve this problem.
Did you think that the mayor's immediate reaction about the north side Amarillo cleanup was interesting? How do you interpret that?
Yeah, I found that interesting because I'm well aware that this mayor in particular did approach the so-called north side, which is not a clearly identifiable geographical area. The north side encompasses a lot of Amarillo, and I think she perceived that the north side may have been near my street. That was one of the reasons why I interrupted her to let her know this is not a north side issue. This is a citywide issue, and it is not confined to anyone who lives north of any particular street.
Did you think that there was some racial stereotyping going on?
Absolutely. For the mayor to say the north side couldn't get permission to go onto the property, well, I could take the mayor to any street in any part of Amarillo. I can take her to 34th and Washington. I can take her down 34th, and I can show her trees that are in as bad shape as there are on the north side of Amarillo, end quote, the north side of Amarillo. So I think that one of the problems we have is that I think this commission wants to pigeonhole issues along the lines of who the messenger is. And I think that's a mistake, and that's part of what bothers me about this commission. It's who is the speaker, who's bringing the issue before the body, therefore it must be a small issue, or it has to be a single issue addressing a particular group of people. That's a totally false notion with regard to bad trees in Amarillo. It is a citywide problem.
How long do you think is reasonable for them to digest this before you?
Well, the report is 16 pages long. At least 7 of those pages are random photographs from around the city showing the variety of the conditions under which I have defined bad trees. It's a quick read. Anyone could read this report in 2 hours and get a firm grip on the problem, get a firm grip on the cost-benefit analysis of what it's going to take, and get the big picture of what has to be done to address this issue. Now, whether or not it's done is another issue. I'm a little concerned that they've got to read it and get back to me to find out whether it's worthy of their further attention. That bothers me a little bit.